New York City, land, rent, yearly trends, and average living, complete script. New York City, a city that never sleeps. A city where millions of people come every year to serve prosperity, jobs, business, education, and better. Behind the lights and skyscrapers lies one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world. Land here is limited, rent is extremely high, and everyday living costs are a challenge, even for middle-class workers. Today, we're going to take a deep and detailed look at the real estate reality of New York City. We will explore land prices area by area, rent for apartments and homes, yearly comparisons of price changes, and what it really costs for an average person to live here. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. Do not make financial decisions based solely on this video. Let's begin. Land prices in New York City. New York City is made up of 5 boroughs. Each borough is unique in terms of real estate prices, demand, and market trends. These boroughs are Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, Staten Island. Each of these areas has different land prices, different demand levels, and different yearly growth. Manhattan, the most expensive land. Manhattan is the heart of New York City. This area includes iconic places like Central Park, Times Square, Wall Street, and major business districts. Because Manhattan is an island, there is very limited land. This scarcity of land keeps prices extremely high. In low-end or less desirable parts of Manhattan, land prices usually start around $700 per square foot. In average residential and mixed-use areas, land prices move between $1,500 and $2,500 per square foot. In high-end and prime Manhattan locations, especially in luxury zones and major commercial areas, land prices can easily reach $4,000 to $6,000 per square foot, and sometimes even higher. Now let us talk about how Manhattan land prices have changed over time. Over the past year, land and property values in Manhattan have risen by approximately 6 to 15%. The highest increases were seen in luxury and central areas, where demand remains extremely strong and supply is limited. Even in lower value areas, prices did not fall. They continued to grow, although at a slower pace. In simple terms, Manhattan land prices remain very high, and the yearly trend continues upward. Brooklyn, high growth market. Brooklyn was once considered cheaper than Manhattan. Today, it is one of the fastest growing boroughs in terms of real estate prices. Brooklyn has attracted a large number of residents because it often offers more space and slightly lower costs compared to Manhattan. In low-cost Brooklyn areas, land prices are usually around $400 to $700 per square foot. In average neighborhoods, land prices range from $800 to $1,200 per square foot. In high-demand and popular areas, especially near waterfront and connectivity to Manhattan, land prices can reach $1,800 to $3,000 per square foot. Over the past year, land prices in Brooklyn have increased by roughly 10 to 14%. This makes Brooklyn one of the fastest appreciating real estate markets in all of New York City. Queens, mid-range and steady. Queens is often seen as more affordable compared to Manhattan and Brooklyn, especially for families and long-term residents. In low-end areas of Queens, land prices usually start around $250 to $450 per square foot. In average areas, prices move from $500 to $900 per square foot. In high-demand and rapidly developing neighborhoods, land prices can reach $1,200 to $1,800 per square foot. When we look at yearly trends in Queens, prices have increased by roughly 4 to 6% over the past year. Some individual locations within Queens showed even stronger growth, especially those close to transit hubs and employment zones. Queens remains a stable and moderately growing real estate market. The Bronx, more affordable with moderate growth. The Bronx is generally more affordable than Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens. In lower-priced parts of the Bronx, land prices range from about $180 to $350 per square foot. In average neighborhoods, prices move between $400 and $700 per square foot. In the better and developing areas of the Bronx, land prices can reach $900 to $1,200 per square foot. When we look at yearly trends, the Bronx has seen price increases of approximately 5 to 7% over the past year. This means the market is still growing, but not as quickly as Brooklyn and Manhattan. Staten Island, most affordable borough. Staten Island is the least expensive borough in New York City. Here, land prices are generally lower, and living is more suburban compared to the rest of the city. In low-end areas of Staten Island, land prices start around $150 to $300 per square foot. In average neighborhoods, prices move between $350 to $600 per square foot. In high-demand and rapidly developing neighborhoods, land prices can reach $1,200 to $1,800 per square foot. When we look at yearly trends in Queens, prices have increased by roughly 4 to 6% over the past year. Some individual locations within Queens showed even stronger growth, especially those close to transit hubs and employment zones. Queens remains a stable and moderately growing real estate market. Bronx, land prices can reach $900 to $1,200 per square foot. When we look at yearly trends, the Bronx has seen price increases of approximately 5 to 7% over the past year. This means the market is still growing, but not as quickly as Brooklyn and Manhattan. Staten Island, most affordable borough. Staten Island is the least expensive borough in New York City. Here, land prices are generally lower, and living is more suburban compared to the rest of the city. In low-end areas of Staten Island, land prices start around $150 to $300 per square foot. In average neighborhoods, prices move between $350 to $600 per square foot. In the best locations, land prices can go up to $700 to $1,000 per square foot. LL showing yearly increases. Rent prices in New York City. Now we talk about rent. For most people, rent is the most important monthly expense in New York City. Rent varies widely depending on a borough, type of home, and neighborhood. Manhattan rent. Manhattan remains the most expensive borough for rent. Low-end apartments typically cost around $2,500 to $3,500 per month. Average apartments usually range from $4,500 to $5,000 per month. High-end or luxury apartments can cost $7,000 to $10,000 or more per month. When we look at yearly trends, Manhattan rent has increased by roughly 5 to 7% over the past year. The lowest increases were seen in smaller apartments, while luxury apartments increased faster because of high demand. Brooklyn rent. Brooklyn is slightly less expensive than Manhattan, but is rising quickly. Low-end apartments in Brooklyn usually cost $1,800 to $2,800 per month. Average apartments range from $3,700 to $4,200 per month. High-end apartments can cost $4,500 to $6,500 per month. Over the past year, Brooklyn rent increased by approximately 6 to 8%. This is one of the highest rent increases in New York City. Queens rent. Queens is more affordable compared to Manhattan and Brooklyn. Low-end apartments in Queens typically cost $1,200 to $2,000 per month. Average apartments range from $3,000 to $3,300 per month. High-end apartments can cost $3,500 to $4,500 per month. When we examine yearly rent changes, Queens rents increased by roughly 4 to 6% over the past year. The Bronx rent. The Bronx offers more affordable rent compared to the rest of the city. Low-end apartments usually cost $1,000 to $1,800 per month. Average apartments range from $2,500 to $3,000 per month. High-end apartments cost $3,200 to $4,000 per month. Over the past year, Bronx rents increased by about 5 to 6%. Staten Island rent. Staten Island has the lowest rent in New York City. Low-end apartments cost around $900 to $1,500 per month. Average apartments range from $2,000 to $2,800 per month. High-end apartments range from $3,000 to $3,800 per month. Yearly rent increases in Staten Island are the slowest in the city, at around 3 to 5%. Rent summary. Manhattan has the highest rent in the city, and rent continues to rise. Brooklyn rent is increasing fast, and Queens rent is moderately rising. The Bronx and Staten Island remain more affordable, but still show yearly growth. Yearly comparison, land and rent. Now let's put everything together and compare how land prices and rent have changed over the past year across all areas. In Manhattan, land prices rose around 6 to 15%. Rent increased by around 5 to 7%. In Brooklyn, land prices increased by approximately 10 to 14%. Rent grew by 6 to 8%. In Queens, land prices rose around 4 to 6%. Rent also increased by 4 to 6%. In the Bronx, land values increased by about 5 to 7%. Rent grew by 5 to 6%. In Staten Island, land prices increased by 3 to 6%. Rent grew by 3 to 5%. This comparison shows that both land and rent are rising across all parts of New York City, with Brooklyn showing some of the fastest increases. Average monthly expenses for an average person. Now let's talk about what it really costs for an average person to live in New York City. Rent is just one part of the cost. There are also utilities, food, transportation, and daily expenses. Rent cost for average person. If a person wants to live reasonably, we can consider these numbers. In Manhattan, a basic apartment might cost around $2,500 to $3,500. In Brooklyn, a shared or affordable apartment may cost $1,800 to $2,500 per month. In Queens, a reasonable apartment can cost $1,200 to $1,800 per month. In the Bronx, A cheaper apartment might be around $1,000 to $1,500 per month. In Staten Island, a modest apartment may cost $900 to $1,300 per month. Other monthly expenses, utilities including electricity, gas, water, and internet, usually cost around $200 to $400 per month, depending on apartment size. Food and groceries can cost $400 to $700 per month for average spending. Transportation in New York City is dominated by public transport. A monthly subway and bus pass costs around $130 per month. If a person uses occasional taxis or rideshare services, they may cost $50 to $100 per month. Miscellaneous expenses, including phone bills, entertainment, insurance, and everyday needs, can cost $200 to $400 per month. Total monthly expenses. If a person lives frugally in Manhattan, total monthly cost may reach $3,500 to $5,000. In Brooklyn, around $2,800 to $4,000. In Queens, around $2,000 to $3,000. In the Bronx, around $1,800 to $2,500. In Staten Island, around $1,600 to $2,200. How an average person can live in New York City. For many people, living in New York City is possible only with careful planning. Some strategies include sharing an apartment with roommates, cooking at home instead of eating out every day, using public transportation instead of taxis, living in more affordable boroughs like Queens, the Bronx, or Staten Island, avoiding luxury neighborhoods that push prices higher. New York City is a land of opportunity, dreams, and businesses, but it also comes with some of the highest land and living costs in the world. Understanding real estate prices, rent trends, and monthly expenses can help anyone make better decisions. For some, New York City is the city of dreams. For others, it is the city of high costs and challenges. No matter what, knowledge gives strength. If you want more videos like this, data, trends, and costs from other cities or countries, let me know. Thank you for watching.